Well, it is that time of the year again, everybody. It's that time of year where we all somehow just decide, this is it. This is going to be the best year ever. And the way most of us decide that is, we're going to think of some New Year resolutions that we're going to put in place, and we're going to make this a great year. Now, I've done a little bit of research on this, and here's what I found. 49% of adults ages 18 to 29 say that they made at least one resolution. So young people say, yeah, let's do it. New year, best year ever. I'm going to make that resolution. Now, 31% of those aged 30 to 49, so a little older, they made a resolution. They thought about it. Yeah, I think I'll make one. And then only 21% of adults 50 and older have made a New Year's resolution. And so when you look at those numbers, what do you think immediately? Here's what I think. As you get older, you realize that don't work. There's no point in doing that. I'm not going to do that anymore because I tried it and I failed. Because we all know what happens to most of these things. The University of Scranton actually did some research on this and said that 75% of resolutions are going to make it through the entire first week of January. That's about how it works. And 80% of resolutions will fail by February. That's the University of Scranton. So these resolutions, they're usually the same thing, right? What are they? I want to lose a little weight. I need to read a little more. I need to exercise more. I got to eat right. I got to get my diet under control. I'm going to read more books. I'm going to do all these things. And what they all have in common is, I want to be better. I want a little more. I want to be a better person this year. Underneath all of this stuff is, I believe that there's more for me out there. I think that there's more that I could experience and have. And the one thing that most people want is to be a better version of themselves. That's what we're looking for when we make those resolutions. Now, deep down, we know that's not going to happen with a resolution on January 1st, right? I mean, we're all making decisions every single day that is determining who we are. In my life, I've made a lot of decisions that has made me the man that I am today. And I've made some really good decisions, and I've made some really bad decisions. The best decision that I ever made was giving my entire life to Jesus. That's the very best decision I've ever made. I'm thrilled that I made it. I can never go back on it. It's awesome. But the second best decision that I made is when I got married to Maria. We were seemingly very young, but actually I was kind of old. I just looked like I was 15. When I married Maria, the best decision that I made. And then I decided to have some kids. I had 3 wonderful kids, Aurora and Ewan and Reese. And yes, they're incredible kids. And I'm so incredibly proud of them. And I'm so thrilled to be their dad. It's just the best thing that the third best thing. Sorry guys, but it's just the reality. It's the third best thing that I ever did. Now they don't look like this anymore. But I love that picture. We moved to Austin when 15 years ago or so, and that was a good move for us. We made a good decision because this is our launch Sunday of the church. We launched in a movie theater with over 400 people and had an incredible experience. And lots of people came to faith, and lots of people deepened their relationship with Jesus. And me and my family, we grew as well. I've made some really good decisions in my life. I've also made some bad ones. I bought a house that was too much house for us. I think it was 2005, I think. Just ignore me. I was a youth pastor and it was weird. But about too much house, and then we moved away and I couldn't sell that house, and it was very, very difficult. And so we went through a real tough time with that house. I shouldn't have bought that house. I wouldn't do it again. I made another mistake when I had this hair. Somebody should have told me. I don't know. But I had that hair, and it probably wasn't the right thing to do. I made another mistake when I had this hair, and when I wore bolo ties, being that age. I don't know. I know. Some people are bolo tie wearers. I'm not saying anything about bolo ties. Good on you. No shade. But for me at that age, it's probably just not the best thing, especially with a weird 80s cardigan. Okay, so I've made some mistakes in my life, and some of them even much worse than that. But the reality is this: you are shaped by your decisions. You're the sum total of the decisions that you've made in your lifetime. So your decisions, your choices, it's what's making you who you are. Right? I am who I am because I married Maria, because I had 3 kids, because I moved to Austin, because I did these things. It's made me who I am. You are not yet who you're going to be. You're becoming who you're going to be by the decisions that you're making. It's by your choices. So let's look at what Paul says to the church at Philippi, Philippians chapter 3, verse 13. It'll be familiar to most of you. Brothers and sisters, I don't consider myself yet to have taken hold of it, but one thing, everybody say one thing.
One thing.
One thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining towards what is ahead, I press on toward the goal, to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. Paul says, there's one thing that I do. As we start out in 2026, I want you to ask yourself a really important question. It's this question right here. What's the one thing that would make the biggest difference in my life? What's the one thing? So if it changed, what's the one thing that might matter most for me in my life this year? What's the one thing that if it was added to my life, it would make the biggest impact this year? Or maybe for some of you, what's the one thing that if it was removed from my life, that if it was pulled out, if I finally got rid of this, that it would make the biggest difference in my life? What would you say is your one thing? Do you have a one thing? Maybe today is the day to think about it. Zig Ziglar famously said, if you aim at nothing, you're going to hit it every single time. And I believe that. So do you have one thing? What is your aim in 2026? I also love this famous quote from somebody that I admire, sort of, Michael Scott. Michael Scott said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Wayne Gretzky. Michael Scott. Some of you don't get that, and that's just fine. Don't worry about it. I did that only for me. So Paul recognizes the call for Christians to aspire to something else, to a higher standard. Jesus said, you should be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect. There's a journey. There's a path for you to follow. He hasn't become everything he wants to become here, Paul in his writing. There's still more to do. There's more to go. And so in order to do that, he's saying, I got to do a few things. If I'm going to press on, first I got to forget what's behind. And maybe it's the moment for you to do that today. Listen, the past is the past. It's time to put it in the rearview mirror, to move on, to settle yesterday and be done with it. Maybe you had some failures this past year. Now it's the time to just forget it, to close the book, to be done, and to press on. Forget the things that are behind. Yeah, it didn't go perfect. It didn't go perfect for me either. But you can't dwell in it. For some of you, maybe it's you had some great successes. Maybe you can't rest on those either. You got to move on. There's more that God has for you. We got to forget what's behind. Now, I acknowledge that you may have to wrestle through some of the ramifications or the things that happen because of your decisions, but that's okay. Let's process through that with Jesus. Let's close the door and let's move on together. You got to forget what's behind. You got to strain towards what's ahead. Why? Because you're still here. Because there's still breath in your lungs. My good friend and mentor, Britt Hancock, he likes to say, if you've got air in your lungs, God's not done with you yet. And I believe that. He sounds like this, though. If you got air in your lungs, God ain't done with you yet. He talks real weird. He's a real gruff and mean guy, but he's actually a lot nicer these days. He was mean when he was younger. Why am I saying this? I don't know. Listen, here's the reality. You serve the God of a second chance, third chance, fourth chance, hundredth. He will always give you a chance if you come back to Him. Tomorrow is actually the last day of Christmastide. Like, you realize that, right? The 12 days of Christmas happen after Christmas. And so we celebrate. So those of you who have your tree still up, you are just in the perfect place. You should have your tree still up. You should still be celebrating the 12 days of Christmas. Good for you. Now, some of you, it's going to be there till February or March. That's a whole nother thing. That's between you and God. But for now, here's what you need to know. We're still celebrating the thrill of hope, the peace that you have, the joy that's available to you. We're still celebrating that. There is more that God has for you. God's kingdom has arrived in Jesus Christ, and we want to focus on that this year. And we want to press on towards the goal. Now, specifically, you can't say exactly what Paul is saying here. We can't be sure if he's just talking about Christ himself. That's kind of where I lean. Maybe God's grace to those who faithfully persevere to their calling to the end. But we know is this is something or someone totally worth it. More on that in a minute. What one thing, if it changed, would be the best and make the biggest difference in your life? For some of you, maybe you need to kick or add a habit. I got this thing. I know that I need to stop doing it. Maybe you drink a little too much, and you're like, "Nah, man, I'm good." But your friends are like, "No, you need a little help." Maybe this is the year where you get screen time finally in control. Most of you probably don't have that, but some of you may. just enormous amount of screen time and just focused on other things. Maybe this is the year where you get all of those habits in place. Maybe this is the year where you add some things to your life. What if this was the year where it changed? What if this was the year where you just decided, I'm going to pick a Bible reading plan and I'm just going to do it. I'm going to read the Bible every single day. I'm just going to start. It's not too late. I know it's the 4th, but it's not too late to start. Maybe you need to shift a relationship. Some of you have relationships that you just know it's not the greatest thing for me because I don't like who I am when I'm with that person. Maybe you've gotten a little too comfortable with somebody at work and you just need to shut it down and say, no, it's done. Maybe you need somebody who's more encouraging to you. Maybe in your marriage you've just drifted apart a little bit. I don't know, but you know. So maybe you need to shift a relationship. What if this is the year? You just decided, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get into a solid community. Phyllis is going to start her women's group back up. I think Logan is still going with his men's group. You've got places where you can go and find community and find help and find people to live your life with. Maybe this is the year where you improve your health. Maybe your belt is a little more snug after the holidays. Maybe this is where you get it finally under control. You start at the gym, or maybe it's your mental health and you decide, I'm going to go talk to somebody and I'm going to get a little help. I'm going to figure this thing out. Maybe I'm going to stop comparing myself to people online and on Instagram, and I'm going to settle and be settled with who I am and who God has made me. It's just time. This year, this could be the year. Maybe this is the time, and we want to come and support you and help you to do those things. And you're like, yeah, but what about all the times that I failed? What about all the times that I didn't make it? I said I was going to do it, and then I didn't do it. Well, you can decide. All right, you can say that, or we can close the book on yesterday, and we can go again. I say let's close the book on yesterday and let's go again and keep moving forward. Because we're not talking about being perfect. We're talking about making progress. Simon Sinek and others have talked a lot about this, but he talks about consistency is greater than intensity. What we think on the beginning of the year is, I'm going to do it all. I'm going to read through the Bible in 1 week. And I'm going to pray for 2 hours every day. And I'm going to fast for 40 days. And I'm going to not watch TV. And we start with intensity because we think that's where all the success lies. And that's where the failure typically lies. Instead, consistency. I'm going to read the Bible every morning for at least 5 minutes. And you read through the scriptures, and then you don't do it the next day. You don't say, I'm a failure, I give up. No, you just don't let it happen the next day. You just pick it up again, and you go again. You just stay consistent. And as you stay consistent in scripture, consistent in prayer, consistent in community, consistent in church, what you find is you are growing. Consistency beats intensity every time. Progress is better than doing it perfect. So for those of you who are perfectionists, there you go. Be free in Jesus' name. If you ask the people in the Bible the same question, you'd get these responses. David answered it in Psalm 27, verse 4. He said, "One thing I ask from the Lord, this only do I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze on the beauty of the Lord and to seek Him in His temple." David says, I just want one thing. I want to be with Jesus. I want to be with Jesus all day. I want to be influenced by Him. I want to be consumed by the beauty of God. David wanted God's presence in his heart and life and permeating his entire being and influencing his thoughts and his interactions and all of his decisions. He wanted to be closer to Jesus. It's what Brother Lawrence called the habitual, secret, and silent conversation with God. I'm just with Jesus all day long. Luke records Jesus answering this question for the rich young ruler in Luke chapter 18, verse 22. When Jesus heard this, He said to him, "You still lack one thing. Sell everything you've got and give it to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven, and then come and follow me." Jesus said, there's one thing that's keeping you from me. And it's a good question for you to ask yourself today. What's the one thing that might be keeping you from Him today? What's one thing that might be getting in the way of your deeper relationship with Jesus in this year? And once we discover it, we just choose. We decide, I'm going to change it. With His help, I'm going to be done with it. And you got to be decisive and ruthless in dealing with it and getting it out. If you ask me what my one thing is in 2026, I want to get closer to Jesus this year. Like Paul said, I haven't taken hold of it yet. I haven't achieved it all yet. I know that there's more. I can see more in my relationship with God, and I want that. Actually, as I read through the scriptures, there's a lot of things that I see written there, and I don't feel like I experience all of it. And so if there's something that I read in the scriptures, but I'm not experiencing all of it, that's not okay with me. I want to experience it. And so I want to go and pursue and experience it. And hey, I want to invite you to go on that journey with me this year. 2026 can be the best year that you've ever had. It can be your best year ever. And I know you're like, that sounds kind of stupid, Brent. I mean, I've had a lot of these years. And it's always the same thing. First of the year, new talk, new things, resolution, blah, blah, blah. But here's what I genuinely believe. 2026 can be the best year of your life if it is the year that you live closest to Jesus. I really believe this. 2026 can be the best year for Promised Land if we all decide that we're going to live the closest to Jesus that we've lived yet. 2026 can be the best year ever if we decide we are going to follow Jesus together in Western New York, and we're going to live out that vision and mission statement here in this area. This can be the most incredible year that we've had. So let's take a look at this idea real quickly before we go in the life of Jesus. You ready? Thanks, Maria. Luke 10:38. As Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet, listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me. Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you are worried and upset about many things. I just love this because I wonder what the tone was, honestly. Because in my mind it kind of reads, oh, Martha, 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 whoa, hey, Martha, hold on. Oh my gosh, you are worried and upset about so many things. Calm down, bro. He wouldn't have said bro. Calm down. Few things are needed, or indeed, just one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it won't be taken from her. Jesus says there's just a few. Actually, no, there's just one thing that's needed. To sit at the feet of Jesus, to get closer to God, and Mary chose that thing. And so from this passage, I think there's 3 decisions that we can make for this year. Number 1 is that we would just do it. Just make 2026 awesome. I know, it's a weird point for a pastor on a Sunday morning. But we want to make 2026 awesome. And if that sounds silly to you, I get it. But the new year always kind of feels like this clean slate. It's this fresh start. You all kind of feel it. It actually has some kind of name I just found out. I can't remember what it is. But we all sense that. I've got an opportunity here. Now, Mary had an opportunity here, and she made the choice. Martha, she gets the bad reputation, right? Everybody's like, oh, don't be a Martha. Oh, you're being such a Martha. If you've been around church for a long time, Martha is like evil, and Mary is the good one. Don't be a Martha. I think I've heard that as a sermon title before. But I think she gets a bad rap. Remember, Martha's the one that invited him in. Martha opens up her home. It's just that then once she did, she got distracted by some things. That's all that happened. Martha has this amazing opportunity. Jesus is there. Jesus is in her house. Can you imagine? But she's hanging out in the kitchen doing all the things. She's doing all the stuff. She invited him in and then got busy, and she started to ignore him. He's right there. He's right there in proximity. Martha, she's still doing things for him. She's still running around. She's making an elaborate meal. She's preparing. She's working for him, making a meal for Jesus. She's busy doing all the work. I mean, she should be good, right? I'm doing things for you. But he says, yeah. But there's something better. There's something better. Promised Land, you have an opportunity this year. Jesus is right here, in the room. He's in the room with you. Don't stay in the kitchen. Don't just get busy doing the stuff. You have an opportunity for your life to be transformed deeper with Jesus. You've got a great church family here, and we are far from perfect. I'm learning about your imperfections. You're learning about my imperfections. We're figuring out together. There are no perfect people in church. You realize that, right? Everyone's like, well, I don't like this church. I need to go to a different church but there's no perfect church. And if there was, when you showed up, it would cease to be perfect. All right, that's enough of that. Ephesians 5:15. Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. Like, make the most of the opportunities that we have right now. Make the most of our opportunities for 26. That word opportunity in the Greek is kairos. You know, it means a window of opportunity. So it opens and it closes. It's temporary. It's going to close. So you got an opportunity this year to press on, to settle yesterday and to press on with Jesus. You've got an opportunity with every single Sunday service that we have to show up, to be in the room, hands lifted, worshiping God, studying the Scriptures together, praying for one another, being equipped so you can go out and make a difference in the world. You have that opportunity every week. You have the opportunity every Monday and Thursday as Phyllis starts her women's group back up. Thursdays as Logan does the men's group. You've got an opportunity where you could show up and you can go deeper. It's there for you. You have an opportunity. You've got an opportunity every single week, multiple to grow. Your kids have an opportunity every Sunday, but they don't drive. So your kids have an opportunity every week to get them here and to hear the Scriptures and to have seeds planted that will grow and bear fruit. We're going to start a bunch of things this year. We're going to push, we're going to build, we're going to put our shoulders down, and we're going to build and grow. You have things at your disposal that you can experience. We can do it together. So I want to encourage you to take an action. And here it is. Just do what we do for 1 year. Just, if we're doing something, I just want to encourage you to do it. You have the opportunity. Just do it. So if we've got some groups and we start more groups, do it. Be a part of it. Come on Sunday and be here and grow and give your life away. Show up. I know that you've got travel and things like that, but show up. Be in the room. If Promised Land is doing something, come and do it. Bring your kids. We're planning on starting student ministry this year. Bring your teenagers. Like, do it all. We're going to actually start a prayer week that I'll tell you about here in a minute. But we're going to have another week of prayer. Just come. Come and participate and pray. Be a part of what we're doing. We're going to launch teams here in the near future. We're going to really kind of organize and help people use their gifts to express them and to encourage and help other people. We're going to do those things. Just jump in and start serving with us. Do the things that Promised Land does. We do a Bible reading plan together. Do the Bible reading plan with us. Jump in and say yes. Why am I doing that? Because, you're just trying to build the church? You're just trying to grow? No! I want you to grow. It has nothing to do with what we want to do and, we want to see it. But yeah, I believe that's going to come. And we'll do whatever God says. But what I want is, and what I know is, you show up to these things. You participate in the life of the church. Guess what? You grow. It's wild to me to sit in an office, talk to somebody, sit across coffee with somebody, and they say, yeah, I'm just having a hard time. I feel distant from the Lord. And I'm sympathetic to that. But when I say, well, are you participating in your local church? Well, no, I'm kind of busy. Do you open up the Scriptures? And do you spend time with the Lord every day? Well, no, I got to get up kind of early. I got to plow at 4 a.m. Always a reason. And they're saying, I'm distant from God, and I don't know why. Well, there's some things that you got to participate in. Progress over perfection, growing, moving forward, being on the journey with God. So I'm not trying to force you to do anything. I'm giving you an opportunity, and I'm just asking you to make the most of it. 2026 will be awesome because we'll get closer to Jesus. And when that happens, everything does change. So let's move on. Number 2, just remove the pointless distractions. Try to get rid of them. Martha got distracted. She didn't just miss the opportunity to be with Jesus, she was also distracted by all the cooking and the cleaning and the prep and all the things that she had to do, while Mary decided to choose focus. Mary chose focus, and we've all got distractions like this. Have you ever done it in the morning? I do it often. I sit down to pray, and I'm praying, and then I think about something. I'm like, I want to write that down, so I grab my phone and I start making a note. And then, you know what? And then I'm on email, and then I'm looking at email, and I need to pray for that person. And then somehow I'm on Instagram, and then sometimes I'm like, what am I doing here? I just get distracted. And we all have things that distract us. I don't know, social media, football, there's a whole bunch of normal offenders. Politics, 24-hour news, Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu. There's lots of opportunities. Not all bad, but need to be in their proper place. Sometimes we get so involved with some pretty good things that we miss out on the best things. And I want us to experience the best thing this year. Corrie ten Boom famously said, if the devil can't make us bad, he'll make us busy. And isn't that true? Because for many of us in this room, probably, you've been following Jesus a long time. And so you're like, that's not going to happen to me. I'm not going to fall off the deep end. I'm not going to go do something crazy. No, but you could get too busy to spend time with Him. And guess what happens oftentimes when you get that? You get further and further and further and further away. And then suddenly you find yourself down in the depths of despair, doing things that you never thought. Hebrews 12:1, therefore, since we're surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. Get rid of it. Let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. We can throw off those distractions, all the things that hinder us. We can get rid of them, all that stuff that entangles. We can get rid of it and focus our attention on Jesus. And that is what the practice of fasting is all about. So fasting is about getting rid of those distractions. Fasting is about saying, I'm going to put away some things. I'm going to put away food. I'm going to put away social media. I'm going to put away my phone. I'm going to put away Netflix. I'm going to put away movies. I'm going to put away TV. I'm going to put away football. I'm going to put away whatever it is. I'm going to put away food, not broccoli, because broccoli you have to keep eating because it's good for you or something. But you can't just fast broccoli and that's the only thing you fast. It doesn't work. Here's what I would encourage you to do. I want to encourage you to set a fasting schedule. To just set a schedule where you decide, I'm going to give up some things here at the beginning of this year. I want to release some things. Here's what I really believe. I've come to believe that a true biblical fast really is about food. I don't really like to say that social media is fasting per se. It's fine. I'm not going to get rubbed the wrong way about it. What I think is, a biblical fast is when you give up food. Your body says, I'm starving. You're really suffering. And you suffer pretty quickly, actually. And so I think that's what biblical fast, but there's something wonderful and powerful about abstaining from things as well. So abstain from social media, abstain from Netflix, abstain from your addiction to politics, abstain from those things. Those are good things to do. And you spend some time with the Lord and just decide what that should be. And set some kind of a schedule. Maybe just look at January and say, what could I give up this month that would be a blessing? Maybe just one meal a day. Maybe it's one meal a week. Maybe it's one day a week. Maybe it's I'm gonna put away social media for a week. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm going to give up a certain kind of food, not broccoli. I'm going to give away a certain kind of food. I'm not going to have dessert. I'm not going to have sugar. Whatever it may be, set some kind of a fasting schedule. And then don't get hung up. If you get hungry and eat something, then just start again. I was off social media, but I looked at Instagram. Well, just close it and start again. Set some kind of fasting schedule. Put down your flesh and your desire and your want and make room for Jesus. And then finally, prioritize the presence of Jesus. So I'm going to tell you something that you probably already know, that Sunday morning is not enough for your relationship with God to grow. There's 167 other hours in the week, and I need Jesus in every single one of them. And so Sunday morning is good and helpful, but it's not enough. And so I'm just going to seek Him on Monday. I'm going to seek Him on Tuesday. I'm deciding that Jesus is just going to be the center of my life in 2026. I think a lot of us treat Jesus like He's kind of an add-on or an addition. He's something, He kind of fits into my life over here. But I don't believe that's not true. Jesus is actually the whole thing. Jesus isn't just on my list somewhere. Jesus is the list. And so I'm going to make Jesus the center of 2026. So I'm going to prioritize His presence. And I've said this before, but one great way to do that is you just go to the Scriptures and prayer before you go to your phone. Before you check email, you go to the Scriptures. Before you check Instagram or YouTube or whatever, before you look at the morning news, you go to the presence of Jesus. So we've said this a lot around the past few months. We're going to pray first around here. And so before you send the email, you pray first. And before you send your kids off to school, you pray first. And before you do that job, you pray first and all those things. And so we're going to do it again. So the action is to start the day with the Bible and with prayer. And just decide that you're going to do it. Yeah, but I missed it. Start again. And the way that I want us to kick this off is starting next Sunday, I want us to do another prayer first, prayer week. And so on Sunday morning, we'll gather together and we'll pray here next Sunday. And then Monday through Friday, we'll gather from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. and we'll pray together. We'll pray through the scriptures. We'll pray for one another. We'll pray for this church. We'll pray for the upcoming year. Because here's the deal, everybody. Reese, why don't you come up? Here's the deal. We are about to step into the next plans that God has for us. We're about to step into the next part of the vision that God has called us to. We're about to step into the new things that God has prepared for us. We're about to step into a season of building. We're about to step into a season of reaching. We're about to step into a season of growing. And I want to be really clear about this. We can't and won't do that without Him. And so I want to take a week where we consecrate ourselves, where we pray and fast, and where we ask God to show us what He wants us to do. And I just want to invite you into it with us. 2026 needs to be a year of spiritual breakthrough. It needs to be a year of redemption. It needs to be a year of vision and purpose. It needs to be a year of salvation for lost friends and family. It needs to be a year of baptisms. It needs to be a year of discipleship and growing closer to Jesus. It needs to be a year of forgiveness and healing. It needs to be a year of prioritizing all the things that God wants us to do.